among numerous other names, and has continuously and incessantly made defamatory remarks against Mr. Avel Bacudio. As such, Mr. Bacudio engaged attorney Avel Bacudio Jr. to be the main and lead counsel for this case. Oliver is qualified to practice in the Philippines as well as in New York. He actually obtained his Juris Doctor degree in Ateneo de Manila University School of Law and ranked third in 2008 bar examinations. He pursued his master's in intellectual property law at the prestigious New York University, and he is also a resident partner of Gulap LLP based in Manhattan, New York. Accompanying him are associates Gulapa and Lim Law, both honor graduates of the Ateneo de Manila University School of Law, attorneys Joshua Neresco and Ryan Roque.
Wala ba kayong mga kamay? Thank you, Brian, for that very generous and kind introductions. Thank you once again to our friend in the media and our bloggers. Thank you for being present here, because your presence here is instrumental in helping us disclose the truth. Okay. Three preliminaries first before we begin. First is I'm going to give a very brief background of the case and what happened. Second, we will try to accommodate as much as possible all of your questions. But if the question relates to a matter of legal strategy and may affect the outcome of the case, please do bear with us. We may have to decline to answer that question. But please do hold on to your questions, because we will answer those after the trial, if this case goes into trial. And last, I think most of you, for most of you, this is the first time that we've met each other. Probably because shy type of guy, not in front of the camera. So that may be the reason. So, we're having all of those settled. Let's roll and brace yourself from a shy type of guy. No? So about August of last year, August 2023, there was an outrageous and loathsome defamatory remark published by Miss Claire Eden Contreras, who also introduces herself as Maharlika. These defamatory statements were repeated multiple times on an almost monthly or even weekly basis. As time goes by, the attacks against Mr. Avel Bacudio became more rabid. There were various defamatory and outrageous allegations against Mr. Avel. But three things kept repeating. And these are, first, that Mr. Avel Bacudio allegedly gave a luxury timepiece to no other than Philippine Representative Ferdinand Alexander Araneta Marcos. Second, that Avel allegedly received kickbacks from DPWH projects. And third, that Avel and Avel's family received their Schengen visa through fraud, obtained their Schengen visa through fraud, and which fraud was made through the assistance of Philippine First Lady Marie-Louise Araneta Marcos. We categorically denied all of those allegations, and we shall prove in a court of law that those are all false. We filed the case in California before the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California, and we also demanded a jury trial. Partida lahat. Kasi sinasabi nila na kung dito daw lang yung case, maluluto. This will be a jury trial, and the facts of the case will be determined by citizens of various walks of life, ordinary citizens. Ito natin papatunayan. Aside from those three main allegations, there are other outrageous, loathsome, and categorical attacks, character assassination attacks against Mr. Avel Bacudio. However, we shall present our proof during trial. To be the victim, or to be the victim by saying that someone is engaged in corruption is serious. The desire to rid our society of corruption is universal. So when you are the victim of an allegation, of a false allegation, that you are engaged in corruption, normally and naturally, the society will frown upon you. So Avel's image has been severely damaged. At times, there were threats against the safety of Avel. And character assassination, or when your reputation is ruined, the damage does not end with you alone. We know long after you're gone, if your reputation is damaged, you will still suffer that. And this suffering transcends generation. Pati yung mga anak nyo, pag nasiraan kayo ng reputasyon, magsasuffer din. So the historical attacks here are no question are willful and malicious. And with that, we're now ready to answer your questions. Any questions from our friend in the press?
Please feel free to raise your hand if there are any questions. We'd be more than glad to answer them. Yes, ma'am.
Ano-ano pong kaso ang inyong ipapile?
Na-file na po, hindi lang ipa-file. Na-file na po na mga 2 weeks ago. It's an action for defamation in the US, which is a very serious offense in the US. The US society frowns upon persons who are engaged in defamation because they cherish the value that one's good name should be protected. So for example, just 2 weeks ago, there was a huge verdict. There's a series of huge verdicts in the US just recently. 2 weeks ago, there was a verdict against Mr. Trump for no less than a former president of the US. The jury awarded an award of $83 million, $65 million in punitive damages, and around $18.3 million in actual damages. So if we see this value, we know that the American society is serious, that you cannot just ruin the reputation of someone else. And in this case, it will be the US society which will decide the case. Yes?
Kailan po kaya yung possible na mag-start na yung hearing?
Possible na mag-start yung hearing. We have here, the court already issued a summons. And in that summons, it states within 21 days from receipt of the summons, the defendant must answer. Yes, sir.
In case na magkaroon ng guilty verdict, ano yung magiging penalty nito kasi sa US law?
If the US law, unlike here na on defamation, libel, there's a statutory penalty for imprisonment or fine. In the US, there's no statutory penalty, but the jury will decide what will be the amount of damage. So another huge verdict which happened just last year, the amount was $1.1 billion in the case of against Alex Jones.
Follow-up question. Yung penalty ba is based on the personality of the aggrieved party? Because I know Avel is known as an international fashion designer, right? So
Yes, sir. That will be taken into consideration. The amount of damage that was suffered by the victim, of course, will also depend upon his stature in life. Because if you're a high-valued, high net worth individual, definitely the value that the damage that you will suffer will also be more.
Parang ano ba, sa Pilipinas, meron po kayo na kaso?
As of now, none. There's no case yet, but we will not discount that possibility.
So sa US lang po sa ngayon?
As of now, yes.
Thank you po.
Yes.
Tatanong ko lang po kung ano kayo yung duration nito na yung para matapos yung kaso, yung trial, tapos para mabigyan na siya ng kaparusahan.
Yung kaparasuhan po, that will depend on the later on. So it will depend on, just like the adage goes, the ball is in the defendant's court. Depende po yun sa moves nila because they can file an answer or they can delay and choose to delay to receive the summons, or in most US cases, these are actually resolved amicably even before the case goes to trial. Maybe 70% of the cases in the US are settled amicably. So it will depend. But assuming that we will go into full jury trial, maybe that will take 3 years. There's another famous case, the Amber Heard case. That's also a defamation case. So that was the trial was finished in 2 to 3 years.
What if po hindi siya mag-respond o hindi siya makapag-cooperate dito po sa kaso na final sa kanya?
So that's also a possibility. Then the court will issue a judgment by default. If it's a default, the rules in the US and here in the Philippines are similar. All allegations in the complaint will be deemed admitted. Pareho lang po ang US Federal Rules on Evidence and the Philippine Rules of Civil Procedure and the evidence. If there's no answer, then all allegations in the complaint will be deemed admitted. And now we will go to the determination of monetary award phase. The jury will determine how much will be awarded to the victim.
Attorney, question lang po. Di ba si Catherine Lee, nag-file din po siya ng kaso. Hindi kaya possible din na pwedeng mag-join force sila ni Avel para mas maganda yung kaso?
Joint force, legally speaking, they have different causes of actions, different set of facts. It cannot be included in one case, and we already found a case. But if that's what you mean by joint forces, one action, they are the plaintiff cooperative in one action, that won't be legally possible. But when you say joint force, that they share resources, or they share possible the evidence, that's really a possibility, and that depends on them.
Attorney, if the respondent po is found guilty, meron bang imprisonment na kalaki?
In the US, defamation case is civil in nature. By itself, there's no imprisonment, if that's your question. But it is possible that in a defamation case, a court will also issue a bench warrant. And I won't disclose now how it can happen because I may be opening my cards for the defendant. But that's a possibility.
Well, magkakilala ba kayo personally ni Maharlika? Or kasi anong pinanggagalingan ng paninira niya sa'yo? Yung pagtawag niya sa'yo ng kulawan maling?
Actually, hi, thank you. Actually, nagkakilala kami because of the campaign. Tapos, because pareho kami yung paniniwala, pareho kami yung sinusuportahan. So, and then, nagkaroon kami ng communication. No, bigla na lang nagbago, hindi ko alam. Well, nakukwento ko sa kanya yung, kasi she stay in my condo because of that, nung election and then campaign. Nagkukwentuhan kami about buhay-buhay. So doon nga po yung lumabas yung, syempre nung bata pa ako, yung parang sabi ko, nako, ang hirap ng buhay, walang pambayad sa kuryente, parang ganon. Tapos, yun, siguro yun ang nilalabas niya ngayon. Pero that's my story before. Siyempre iba na ngayon. So, yun, hindi ko alam kung saan ang gagaling talaga yung kanyang galing.
So, kailan kayo nagkaroon ng follow? Kailan kayo officially parang hindi na kaibigan o nabalik
Last, I think 2003, nung August. August?
2023.
2023 August. Yun, doon na yung parang, okay. So parang, ako naman as a fashion designer, may mga ginagawa kasi ako doon lang talaga. So I'm a fashion designer, hindi pa ako political na ako. So medyo hindi lang ako komportable kasi iba yung pinag-uusapan ngayon. Kung pag-uusapan ito sa pagiging isang designer, okay ako. Ito kasi politika at saka medyo hindi naman ako yon. Kaya kay attorney na po yung bahala.
Ano pong naramdaman nyo nung nilabas niya yung mga statements niya against you? Ano po unang reaction nyo nung lumabas po yun?
Siyempre medyo nakakalungkot kasi sabi nga niya BFF. So nakakalungkot pero ako naman sabi nga ng aking pamilya, yung aking sister, yung parang ipagdasal na lang natin. Kaya lang medyo ngayon may mga naapektuhang tao na hindi dapat kasama dito. Na parang nadadamay sila. Siyempre, of course, the first family is nadadamay. Na hindi naman kami masyadong client ko lang sila as a designer. So medyo nakakahiya rin sa parte nila.
Possible po ba na ma-take down yung YouTube channel ni Feriden Contreras?
Question.
YouTube channel, the entire YouTube channel. That's possible, but not likely. Because in the US, they have a very strong First Amendment right. First Amendment right is the freedom of speech. And they frown upon prior restraint. Yung prior restraint po yung wala pang sasabihin, pipigilan na natin. They will allow you to speak. However, if you speak and that's injurious or tortuous to another, then they will really hold you accountable. That's really the policy and the values in the US.
Attorney, tanong ko lang po kung how many percent po kaya ang ating dito sa kaso na masisigurado natin na panalo ang kaso natin? Ilang porsyento po?
In my life, it's my policy never to say 100% because there are things outside of our control. So, kung sure ako, ang sure ko is actually 99.99%. And in this case, I'm saying 99.99%.
So, panalo tayo,
99.99 lang because,
Patayin.
jury yung
Parang
decide and I cannot control the mind of the jury.
100% eh.
Hanggang 99.99 lang talaga yan because as they say, there's nothing sure in life. But if you are going to assess the case mo, yung tatlong sinabi ko kanina, simple lang actually yun eh. Nagbigay ba ng relo, ng luxury timepiece niya or what? It's very easy to prove or dispute. And also the visa. The visa actually is very easy to prove. So, if the visa was issued fraudulently. There are other allegations, and we intentionally did not include that in the complaint as a matter of legal strategy. Kasi sometimes half-truths or taken out of context. Kaya nga nang masabi ni Avel, dati daw, walang pambayad ng kuryente, but less than a year, nung nakaupo si PBBM, then nakabili na ng bahay. Half to. Normally, I would not disclose this now as in this early phase of the litigation. But para pagbigyan ko po kayo kung anong ibig sabihin niya. Yes, dati walang pambayad po si Avel ng kuryente. But anong dati? Dati yun when he was still young in Buhi Camarines Sur. He is proud to say, during that time, talagang wala silang pambayad ng kuryente. Pero hindi yung dati na before PBBM's term, naghihirap siya kasi na-cancel culture daw yan. That's definitely now true. And it's very easy to prove that. Wala yung na-miss na bill payments. We can go to Meralco. Walang na-miss na bill payments si Avel. Okay, that's one. Number two, may nabili daw na bahay worth 26 billion. Paano nyo pagkaintindi po nyo yan? Because suddenly, pumamdam ng pera at may pambili ng that's how you understand
Actually,
that.
ganun po talaga.
Yeah, because it was presented out of context. Nabili yung bahay non-installment, low down payment, low interest. So if you look at it that way, 30 years to pay, then suddenly you will see, ay, ano naman yan? Within normal range naman. At kahit that's acceptable. That's within the range, no? It was purchased using loan. And if you view it that way, para makikita mo, walang pangarapang. We will present this to jury. You know very well na ganyan yan. Hindi yan 26 million na nilabas biglaan. But how come hindi mo ni sinabi yon? Then we can say that the intent was clearly malicious and it was willful to damage the good reputation of a person.
Si Maharlika po ba? Hindi ko din po kasi sure eh. Is she an American citizen? Ano po ba ang status po niya sa US?
We do not have a power to determine or to have a statement from the US government. But according to her, she is an American citizen and she is no longer according to her, she is no longer a Filipino citizen. She renounced her Filipino citizenship. According to her.
Avel, question po for Avel. Avel, may personal akong tanong sa'yo. Totoo ba na sa kagaya ng ini-issue ni Maharlika sa'yo, na binigyan mo ba talaga si Sandro Marcos ng Rolex?
Baka ako ang bibigyan.
Dun sa statement ko po, we categorically deny that statement. Yung three main topics that she keeps repeating, first, that a luxury timepiece was given to Philippine Representative Ferdinand Alexander Marcos. We categorically deny that. Basta yung stream.
Avel, question. Kasi di ba naging magkaibigan kayo ni Maharlika? Tumira sa condo mo, pati sundo, di ba? Pati, alam na, lahat. Tawag dito, what urges you to do this action? Considering na naging magkaibigan kayo.
Actually, for the past few months, parang ayoko talaga. Kasi nga parang focus ako sa ginagawa ko sa designer. Pero mas may naaapektuhan kasi mga like my family, na my niece, and then my sister, and my brother-in-law na hindi naman kasama dito na maayos silang namumuhay. At maayos kami namumuhay. In-accept ko siya bilang kaibigan. Actually, yun, katulad ng sinabi mo nga, tinihisan din. Pero sa isang iglap, nagbago talaga yung lahat. So, ako naman yung tao na parang takot kami sa Diyos. So, ipagdadasal namin hanggang katapusan ng buhay. Kaya lang ito talagang maraming tao na nadadamay. Na my family, the first family. So parang nakakahiya rin sa mga taong nakapaligid sa akin. So I think this is about time na parang sasabihin ko rin sa inyo na talagang lahat ng sinasabi niya ay hindi totoo.
May question lang ako kay Avel. Yung bang mga sinusuot niyo na galing sa'yo, libre ba yun?
Yung mga una is binibigay ko. And then, yung iba naman is may mga nag-order. Pero, konti lang yung mga nag-order sa kanya. I think, mga 4, mga ganun. Pero yung mga sinusuot niya, like yung inauguration, tapos yung mga sinusuot niyang campaign, binibigay ko talaga yun. Kasi gano'n naman ako bilang kaibigan.
Ikaw na lang inauguration, kano yung price nun? Kasi gusto ko na magpagawa nun eh.
Actually, bigay lang yan.
Kaya kung inibenta mo siya, magkano kaya?
I don't know, sister kung may alam.
Talagang si Mami
Presyo
Pink. Mami
pagdating
Pink
kay
talaga.
sister yung lahat.
May tanong lang ako, Avel. Di ba naging magkaibigan nga kayo? Gusto ko lang malaman kung anong klase ba ang kaibigan si Maharlika?
Uy, grabe naman.
Sorry po kasi yun ang tawag ko sa kanya. Sorry po. Ano po siyang uri ng kaibigan nung siya po ay inyong kakilala at natira siya sa inyo?
Kasi nag-reach out siya sa akin. So ako naman that time, wala akong, kung sino yung pumunta sa akin at naniniwala sa akin, buong puso kong i-accept yun. So siya naman is naging, okay naman siya, naging okay siya. Siyempre may nagdadalawang isip din ako, pero kaya hindi lahat ng kinukwento ko sa kanya is buong buhay ko. Yung mga konti lang, pag nag-open lang kami ako sa ako nga, ganyan. Yun lang, pero definitely yung buong buhay ko, ang nakwento sa kanya.
Mabait po ba siya?
Yeah, okay. Ako, gano'n naman ako as long as nawa kang ginagawa sa akin masama, mabait ka. Eh ngayon may ginawa siya, hindi okay. Hindi ka siya
Sir, tanong ko lang, no? Saan ba nagmula itong parang pang-aaway sa inyo ni Maharlika?
Actually, hindi ko po alam kung saan ang galing. Attorney.
As I've said, the first published defamatory statements against Avel happened in August 24 of 2023. Yun yung una natin nalaman na negative statements. Why that statement was made, I have theories. Please allow me not to discuss those theories.
Okay.
If this case goes to jury trial, we will have a discovery procedures. Kasi sa US kasi may discovery procedure. Buksan natin lahat ng email, text messages, correspondence with other people, and it may shed light what is the motive behind why this statement was made. Because it came as a surprise, a real surprise to dating mong friend, and then suddenly, ayan, nagbigay ka daw ng luxury items. And it's completely untrue. So if it happened to you, wow, shocking. From someone na pinatira mo sa, pinapasok mo sa bahay mo. So that's a shocking incident. As to why As of now, we have theories, but I don't want to disclose.
So you're filing this in the US.
We filed this. We already filed it,
Ago.
and the court already issued summons against the defendant.
Can you give, Mr. Avel, can you give us a peek into the frame of mind ni Miss Maharlika? Kasi recently I've seen clips of her, parang napaka-rabid niya. Do you think parang may konting problema siya? Honestly, when I watch her clips, parang kulang na lang, umikot yung ulo niyo.
Okay. If you see Amber Heard versus them, kanya-kanya silang expert witness on professional doctors who will evaluate the mental state of a person. So it will be better for us to also resort to that. No? We ask a professional on mental health, on mental state, kung anong opinion niya. And of course, again, we cannot, I think we are not qualified na kung anong nasa it would be better, sir, if we wait for trial and we are given the chance to have an expert on mental status examine the defendant.
Alright, thank you very much.
Posible po ba yung cease and desist to possible po ba yung cease and desist to stop Maharlika from further defaming your client? Meron po bang ganun sa US? Paano po?
Possible, but again, very difficult. And the answer is similar to the earlier question. The US was a very strong First Amendment rights, and they frown upon prior restraint. No? Yung prior restraint, hindi ko pa nga alam anong sasabihin ko, pinasis and desist na ako. So, as a free society with very strong freedom of speech values, that might be very difficult. But if it's possible, it's possible. But very difficult to obtain.
Question to Masabel. Sir, what do you think the reason why na suddenly in-involve yung pangalan mo ni Maharlika dun sa do you think is there any person behind Maharlika to accuse you or say something bad about you?
As I said during that preliminaries, we would welcome and try to accommodate your questions. But if it's a question that will affect litigation strategy or the outcome of the case, please do forgive us. We will not answer as of now. Kasi kung sagutin natin yan, baka malakpan kami sa litigation strategy. But please take note of that question. After trial, sasagutin natin yan. Okay. I hope to see you again after trial. We'll see more of each other.
Question lang, ano lang, no?
Mike,
Mapen. Ayaw mag-mic.
Di ba sabi din kasi ni Maharlika na siya daw yung nagpasikat sa'yo. Ano yung ano mo doon? Nasabi mo doon?
I started designing when I was 17. So, nagkaroon ako ng show in abroad ng mga 1995. So, I think parang hindi naman okay na sabihin na siya nagpasikat sa akin. Kayo siguro makakapagsabi kung sino ako. So, hindi ko alam kung siya nagpasikat sa akin. Thank you so much. Pero sa akin kasi, matagal kong pinaghirapan yung pangalan ko. Ang dami-dami kong pinagdaanan para makarating kung saan man ako ngayon. Kung 100 steps ang aakyatin ko is naka 50 na siguro ako. Kaya hindi ko hahayaan na parang dito lang mapunta yung pinaghirapan.
I'd also like to answer that question, not as your lawyer, but as your friend. From fun and friend. Almost 30 years ago, I attended a debut of a very beautiful lady with very fine face. That lady wore an Avel dress. So, Avel was already someone during my time. And how do I know that this lady has a fine face? Because many years later, she became my wife.
Wow!
Ito na, tanong. Meron bang si Avel, meron siyang US lawyer?
Hindi, siya nga.
I'm a US lawyer. I'm a lawyer.
American.
Kahit hindi na to.
Oh, hindi. You can practice both.
I
Oh.
like to practice, I know US ka na
Kasi baka raw may ano,
we have a collaborating council in California. And Cristo also, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce our US council, Cindy, my good friend. Cindy is no less than the managing partner of Dwayne Morris Los Angeles. It's a huge law firm with 20 plus offices in the US. So we're dealing with high caliber lawyer. She was multi-awarded and we met each other in an awarding ceremony in the American Bar Association. So if you have a copy of the complaint, you will see there that it was signed by Cindy, and Cindy is a top-notch lawyer.
Okay, Abel, tanong ko lang, kamusta yung ano yun ni FL na yun, ni FL Lisa?
Actually, hindi naman kami nag-uusap ni El. Client ko siya. That's professional. Yung usapan namin very professional lang. So, hindi rin ako nagsusumbong kung ano. Kasi ayaw ko nga ng, alam mo na. So, wala kami communication about this.
Ben, anong action and support na nakukuha mo sa showbiz friends mo and clients?
Actually, it's a very good question. Well, yung mga taong matagal ko ng kaibigan sa showbiz, kilala naman nila ako kung sino ako. So, they sending me a prayers. Sabi niya, kaya mo yan, mas kilala ka namin. Nakakatuwa kasi yung mailbox ko sa Facebook and sa Instagram and sa social media. Lahat sila, 95% is supporting kung ano yung ginagawa ko. Kasi ever since, kilala nila ako kung sino ako. At wala akong tinatago sa lahat. Kung ini-interview ako, wala akong tinatago. Kasi ako to eh. So hindi ko kailangan mag-pretend kung sino ako. So may mga negative na nagsisend sa akin. Pero sabi ko nga parang 31 millions. So 1% lang ng mas o negative. So hindi ako bothered sa ganun.
Avel, do you have a message to Maharlika?
No.
Mostly, expected siguro ng mga agents sa inyo na baka sabihin ng iba na inutusan kayo ng partner politics.
Wala po. Wala. This is initiative po ng aming pamilya. And then my sister is here, si JJ. Kasi nadadamay po yung pamilya rin nila. I'm with my sister since magkabata pa kami talagang wala talaga kaming kaya hanggang ngayon support. Nakilala ni Maharlika. Ni Maharlika ng sister ko. Dinala ko pa siya sa Tagaytay. We eat, nag-lunch kami. In-accept siya sa namin bilang kaibigan talaga. Bilang tao, bilang kaibigan. Kasi may family, religious kasi kami. So parang pag pumunta sa amin ng isang tao na bukas loob naman namin kami. So, yun.
Pero may nagtatanong dito, totoo ba na, sabi daw dito, totoo ba na ginawa daw, pinabibili daw kayo ni Maharlika ng pagkain ni noon?
Actually, hindi pinabibili, pinibigyan namin siya ng food.
Okay.
Nagluluto yung sister ko at dinadala sa kanya.
Tanong lang po. Kasi kilala po kayo na supporter.
Kilala kayo na supporter ni TBBM. So, si Maharlika na lang. Si Maharlika naman ay kilala na ngayon na anti-PBBM. So, may nagtatanong lang, baka naman inaatake kayo dahil sa politika. Baka naman may nagkukumpas.
Okay. That's possible, and that's also related to my earlier answer that what is the motive behind these attacks? We don't want to speculate this early, but that's all possible. There are various possibilities, and please do understand with us if we invoke the Fifth Amendment, right? Kasi that can affect the litigation.
Are there any more questions to Avel or to Attorney Backline?
Yun, simple lang naman, no? Tapos ang issue, di ba?
So, ayun, tuloy na natin
May
to.
question pa ako, last question. Tatanong ko lang, Abel, kung pupunta po ba kayo sa US para makaharap sa siya?
If this case goes to trial, well, we need to go to court to attend and sit on the witness stand.
Ano po kaya ang inyong first reaction pag nakita niyo siya? Anong first reaction niyo? Sana nasa likod niyo ako para ako yung taga. Joke lang, joke lang.
Kailangan nyo.
And for the truth to come out. I'd like for the truth to come out. That's the reason why we filed the case. Hindi dahil sa vengeance or hate, but just to clear Avel's good name. Because maraming nagsasabi now, why do you keep silent? Because I know you're that type of guy, no? That you are not going tatapatan natin ang hate with hate, or vengeance and fury with fury. When I saw you in your office when I was interviewing you, I saw you working diligently, peacefully, and I saw in your work exudes peace, harmony, and resilience. That even in this crazy world that you were being attacked, you were just focusing on work to produce work that are artistic and shows, no? Hindi personal, hindi ko na, nung I was interviewing agad, hindi ko nakita sa kanya na bakbakan natin yan kasi walang yan, no. I always saw in him peace. And this is the reason why we filed the case, simply for the truth to come out. And I would also like to thank you for attending this because this will make our job easier for the truth to come out. Kasi maraming nagsasabi, magsalita ka naman kasi ano ba talagang nangyayari dyan? And here it is. We simply want the truth to come out. Walang binigay na relo. Wala kaming natanggap or pinakam na pera from PDWH. And the visa, both Schengen and US visas, were issued regularly. Those facts are very easy to establish. And we will establish that before a US jury.
Avel, message ng mga kababayan natin. Nasa likod mo daw sila. Nakasupport sila sa'yo.
Yes. Of course, maraming salamat po sa inyo. Nakakataba ng puso kasi bilang isang taga Bicol, patuloy na nangangarap pa rin. Hindi lang para sa akin, kundi para sa ating mga Pilipino. Ako naman bilang isang designer is, kaya nandito pa rin ako kasi gusto kong isulong yung mga pamana sa atin ng ating mga ninuno na kultura at sining. So yun ang focus ko ngayon. Kaya lang, may mga bagay tayong tumatalikod na kailangan harapin. Pero ito isang yugto naman ito ng aking buhay. Na kailangan pag natapos ito, isang yugto ulit. At para sa ating mga Pilipino, at para sa ating mga weavers at mga embroidery, para naman sa kanila talaga itong laban.
Okay na.
Last one.
Yung sabi ng mga viewers namin, nasa likod ko daw sila.
Maraming
Ano yung mga vloggers nasa likod?
Alam ko naman yon. Salamat.
Last na lang, kasi sabi ng isa kong viewer dito, sabi ng isa kong viewer, sana daw gusto lang makita may kulong.
Makulong.
Okay.
Possible po ba?
There's that possibility. But again, kasi nung nakausap, si Avel yung may client. Kasi kung ano ang gusto ni Avel is really just for his name to be cleared, for the truth to come out. And yung pagkulong, even if remotely possible, hindi ko rin gagawin ng sa lawyer. Kasi wala akong instruction ko. Kulong ang hatang, kulong talaga yan, yung kulong talaga. So, we won't do that. Our main objective, our main and primary objective is really for Avel's good name and reputation to remain. Because nasisira na siya with an accusation that mangangamkam ka and corrupt ka is serious. And there are instances when random people will just ridicule you because of these defamatory lies. So, wala bang kulong? Wala. because my client did not instruct me na ako
Sorry po, wala
we will not be working on that litigation stand.
Attorney, ay sorry, follow up na ano. Dito ba sa Pilipinas, yung ginawa ni Maharlika, even though nasa US siya, and then bawal din naman like, cyber libel dito sa Pilipinas, is it possible na magsampa rin ng kaso dito si Avel kahit na nandun siya, and then is it possible din na mapapunta siya rin sa Pilipinas or like using the extradition? Marami kasi mga Filipino nagtatanong, so mas mabuti na ang sasagot po ay isang abogado.
Okay. Possible ba na makasuhan siya? Possible. Possible na mag-issue ng warrant of arrest. But the challenge now is how to enforce the warrant of arrest because laws are territorial in nature, especially criminal laws. So, doon ang magiging challenge. You mentioned about extradition. Defamation is not among the extraditable offenses.
Ito last ko na to. Sabi ni Maharlika, ex-BFF kanya, di ba? So dati kanyang BFF. Ito yung tanong ko. Papaano kung magmakaawa si Maharlika sa'yo at iuwi mo lahat ng to?
Siguro, for now hindi ko alam. Kasi bilang ka-Diyos, hindi ko alam. Kay attorney po yun.
Nako, Avel, whether a case should be settled or not actually is the final say of a client. A lawyer has no say whether to pursue the case or settle. Pag sinabi ng client, settle. Kahit yung abogado gustong bakbakan natin ang tuloy natin, a lawyer has to settle and follow the client as a matter of legal ethics. Okay. But we will think about it. We will think about it. As I've said, most cases are settled 70%, 80%. Most cases in the US are settled even before the filing of an answer. Okay? So yun pala, discuss ko na. Wala kasi may nagtanong eh. What are the possible next phases? So next phases as either one, the defendant files an answer. If you think trial tayo, labas natin yung evidence natin. Two, just ignore it. May nagtanong dyan, and in which case, there will be a judgment by default. Three, initiate ng negotiation and settlement. In fact, it's a requisite of. So most cases are settled. So yeah, those are the three main next phases.
Sir, last na lang.
Ano kaya pag nakipag-ayos si Maharlika sa inyo?
Ayun na yung
Nakatanong lang. Hindi nakikinig.
Pwede naman patawarin, pero kailangan talaga dalain. Kasi, ulit-ulit sa iba yun.
Wala, magkaroon na
Bayan na lang pag
Nasa likod mo ako, Abel, ako ang guardian angel.
Kasi no right to in forgiveness and pagbabago rather than violence. Thank you very much again.
Para magtanda.
May question ako. Naalala ko lang, sino yung binanggit ni Maharlika na bata sa vlog? About doon sa passport.
Actually, isa pa to sa nag-file kami ng case kasi nadamay niya yung aking pamangkin na walang kaalam-alam dito, na tinatawag pa siyang tita. So, ito talaga yung hindi namin pwedeng palagpasin kasi kung pinoprotektahan niya yung apo niya, ganun din namin pinoprotektahan yung pamangkin.
Actually, below the belt because that child was specifically named in one of the documents. The child was named in one of the documents, and that's foul. Innocente yung bata. No? And in a defamation case, as I've already said, the next generation will either win or good name or suffer the bad name of the person. So in this case, sinisiraan si Avel, and the negative yung destroyed reputation niya will be suffered by the younger generation. And one of that is yung bata na pinag-usapan natin dito. So maybe that's one reason yung sinihirapan kaya dapat patawag na. So that's also one of the main driving force bakit sinabi natin na enough is enough. We have to clear Avel's good name and his family's good name.
Question again, Mabel.
one last. Abel, nabanggit din ni Maharlika na sino ang totoong nagpakilala sa inyo kay Small Loudon at kasi lumalabas dun sa vlog niya, siya ang parang nagbibigit sa
Sorry, that might affect litigation strategy. And we will answer that if this case, after this case, we will answer that.
Abel, ano yung lesson na natutunan mo dito sa pangyayari?
Actually, ako kasi yung tao na kahit sino yung lumapit, nangangailangan, tutulungan. Nagkataon lang ng that time, yung 2020, no ako'y cancel ng mga tao because I'm supporting the president. Doon siya lumapit sa akin. So, ang lesson ko na natutunan is bukas pa rin tayo sa lahat ng bagay. Pwede natin i-accept lahat ng tao pumupunta, pero kailangan natin muna silang parang kailangan muna natin silang kilalanin yung pagkatao nila. Isa sa pinakamasakit din na nangyari sa akin is binigay ko lahat bilang tao, bilang pumasok ng, kasi ako yung tao rin na pag binigay ko lahat ibibigay ko kasi mahirap ako magpapunta sa condo ko, mahirap din ako magpapunta sa shop ko, at mahirap din na i-introduce ko siya sa family ko like my sister. Pero lahat yun na pagdaanan ko at dinala ko siya doon. So ibig sabihin, open ako sa kanya. Ang pagkakamali ko lang at hindi ko pinagsisisihan. At marami rin ako natutunan. Yun lang po.
Thank you.
Just like to add to that one. If you imagine yourself in the shoes of a man, may mga culture tayo na pag pinapasok mo sa bahay mo, ibig sabihin, trusted mo talaga. Close mo na talaga. So that's the level of openness that Avel gave to the pero magkakilala sila, sinabi pa ng wala man lang warning Avel, nagbigay ka ba talaga ng luxury time case na wala man lang, all of a sudden, so you can just imagine the pain and the tension that you really feel. Nakalimutan na.
Floating like sa US?
Wala.
Wala pa.
Wala po.
Soon.
Wala sa isip ko. Dito na lang sila umorder para makatulong din sa
Balik
akin.
nyo
Attorney, what if daw, this question is in behalf of my viewer. So, paano daw po kung sila ang mag-file ng yung mga netizen para ma-deport daw si Maharlika? Is it possible?
Or on what grounds?
May petition. May petition daw siya.
As I understand, Maharlika is a US citizen. Hindi basta-basta ma-deport because she's a US citizen. She will be protected by US laws. Pero sabi naman ipapa-deport. Hindi naman baka-graduate pa naman
Di ba, awa kasi presidente. Kasi April, grabe. Hihigil ako sa
Do we have any more questions from the audience?
Actually, ito na lang, yung tanong na lang sa akin kung he stated kasi na kawawa. Actually, kawawa yung maraming tao na hindi naman. Suddenly, dawned upon me na may nagtanong sa akin, Attorney, hindi ka ba natatakot na kunin yung case niya? Actually, marami akong possible collaborating counsel who refused to take the case because of the toxic nature ng government. Baka sila yung maging target. So there's a short answer to that, but I'd like the longer version. If you rephrase the question, attorney, gusto mo bang maging target ni Claire, mabolja? The answer to that is definitely no. I don't want to be the target of those kinds of statements, of those kinds of attacks. Because I know how hurtful it is. Binabasa ko pa lang yung transcript, hindi ko pa nga nakikita yung video mo ka. It's very painful and I know ako binabasa ko lang how much more to Avel is really the target. So I don't like to be the target. I don't like that culture to be the norm na sa mga eskwelahan ng children natin, ganun na ang nagiging norms na crass na nausapan. I don't like that to be the norm. But I won't shy away and I won't run away from my responsibility to defend who are those who's oppressed, especially for a friend in need. Kahit mabolja ka po. If that's really what will happen, I'm ready to lose. But I don't.
Pero diba, attorney, if ever na gold sa galing, hindi kasuhan natin siya ulit.
That's a possibility.
Diba?
That's happened in the Trump case. Yung Trump case, nandun ako bukas.
Si attorney, nakabukang kang.
Attorney, kakalkalin yung buhay mo. Balik pa kayo, picture.
Masasabi ko, wala akong tinatago.
Dahil pag pinapalawan naman, kami lang.
So, that's a possibility. But, again, the case is really about it's really about someone to face responsibility and accountability of his actions for publishing defamatory remarks. And if she continues to do that, then there will be more responsibility.
Correct, diba? Every time naman na mag-alang na kayo, pwede naman i-tagdal sa kaso niya yun.
Yes.
Ayun. Okay na ako?
Thank you very much. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
helping us spread the truth. Because our friends in the media sector, the bloggers, you are instrumental in helping us spread the truth.
Thank you din po.
Thank you.
Thank you.